Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 37 of the J Situation Podcast. I'm recording this on October 27th, 2020. This is a spooky episode of the podcast for Halloween. Now, I'm going to post something spooky with this episode. Something spooky quiet. A spooky quiet setup for you. That's the picture that I'm going to post to go along with this. So look for that photo. I am proud and excited to let you know that the J Situation Podcast is brought to you by PEW Science, pushing the silencer industry forward one test at a time. PEW Science is the largest ever public small arms research cooperative. Most testing and R&D is funded by contributions from the membership. Some testing is funded privately by manufacturers. When private test data is made public, you will know, and that might be happening sooner than you think. Visit pewscience.com for the suppression rating, the simplest and most accurate hearing safe ratings for your suppressed small arms. The suppression rating is in section 5 of the Silencer Sound Standard. The standard walks you through gunshot noise, sort of like a Wikipedia article, but way cooler because it's about silencers. There are 6 parts, and they are all on pewscience.com for you to read. If you haven't dug into the Silencer Sound Standard, dude, that is totally fine. You can skip directly to the suppression rating in section 5. It lets you know how silencers stack up in comparison to one another with regard to sound at the muzzle and the shooter's ear. And it gives you a hearing safe dose limit for the particular platforms on which they're tested. It's really cool, guys. It's basically a universal rating, and before long, you'll be using it to discuss with your friends. You'll say, oh man, that sounds like a 50 at the ear. I know my setup's about that. I mean, it's a different cartridge, but your setup's just as quiet as mine. Trust me, you're going to love it. It puts everything on a level playing field. You're not going to find this information anywhere else in the world. The 6th and the final section of the standard contains all the reviews. Go check them out at pewscience.com. If you are a manufacturer and you would like to use PEW Science for private testing and consulting services, there is a form on the website with which you can submit that inquiry. Your contact information, all the data that you submit, your inquiry in general will be held in strict confidence. Okay, we do not share what we discuss with clients. We do not share information that you guys send us. That is between you and PEW Science, okay? So have no fear. Your data is safe. You can support this podcast, PEW Science, and our testing by joining it at pewscience.com. You can support us with a membership. You can even give us a good rating on iTunes. Try to say something nice. That would be nice of you. When you do that, when you do give a good rating on iTunes, what that does is it lets the general public know, hey, maybe guns aren't so bad. Maybe silencers are okay. A lot of people don't know about silencers, so this is a bit of a niche area, but hey, we're trying to grow it every day. I think that's the goal. So, I have 5 topics for you today. Topic 1, just completed a really large test series. Man, I tell you what, multiple test programs in one weekend. Ballsy, I know. Ballsy. It was ridiculous. Topic 2, new sound signature review this week, maybe, possibly. I definitely have not written it yet, so that's fun. Topic 3, some silencer industry forecasts. I'll tell you what I think might be happening and could be completely wrong. That's why it's a forecast. Topic 4, what am I excited about in the silencer world? What are you excited about in the silencer world? Is there anything to be excited about at all? There might be. Maybe there's not. Wouldn't that be sad? Hopefully the answer is there's many things. Topic 5, welcome to new PEW Science members. Your support is appreciated. Thank you so much. Okay, let's get right into this. Man, I'm excited. I'm in such a good mood today. Halloween's coming up. I think it's, let me see, the 27th today. So it's Saturday. Yeah, Saturday's Halloween. I tell you what, guys, that's a trifecta holiday situation. We got Halloween, then we got Thanksgiving, and then we got Christmas. That's like that's like my trifecta. This is my favorite time of year. I'm telling you, you got the Halloween, you got the candy, just the weather change. The weather just changed, so it's fall. I mean, I live in Texas, so it's like hot, 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 90 degrees, 90 degrees, 90 degrees, 50. That's how Texas, that's how it works. Yeah, and then you got Thanksgiving, and everyone loves that. You get to eat everything, and you're usually deer hunting, let's be honest. I mean, that's what I do. And then Christmas? Well, who doesn't like that? Well, I guess there are people who don't celebrate it, but they celebrate other stuff. So, Merry Christmas, I would say, or Happy Holidays. It'll be fun. I tell you what, this is the home stretch of 2020, and I, for one, am excited about it. So topic 1, just completed a really large test series, guys. I am telling you, it was insane. Multiple test programs. Multiple. Have you ever worked on something and you plan it down to every detail, and it takes so much work, and everything has to align for it to work, and there's no room for error? And although you have contingencies in place, it can all just like go to dog poop like super quick. But then you end up pulling it off. That was PEW Science this past weekend. Coming in strong in the clutch. It's like, boom, baby. Totally clutch play. We had multiple test programs on the schedule. I chose to do something crazy. Scratch that. It was a lot crazy. I combined programs. In one weekend. It was not, in hindsight, was it crazy? Yeah, absolutely. We did some private contract work, a couple of private contracts, and then we actually utilized the rest of the weekend to do hood rat stuff. Basically doing PEW Science member funded tests. Like straight up, we're out here, let's get some data type of thing, which was, in the name of science. Okay? I mean, it was amazing. So much data. Oh my goodness gracious, just pumpkin pie crazy. I don't even know what that means, pumpkin pie. I'll tell you what it means. I'm excited about Thanksgiving, but so much data. I tell you what, the data that was generated too, dude, it's not even funny. It's not even funny how clean this data is. Like, we were sitting there testing. I looked at the person that was assisting me. Like, I just looked at him, and we were like, holy crap, like, look at this data right now. And then I started processing the data and the waveforms, like, back at PEW Science headquarters, back in the laboratory. Oh my God. Look, I made some apparatus improvements. I told you guys that, right? I told you guys I've made some apparatus improvements over the past month or so. It's paying dividends, baby. It's paying dividends. Oh my gosh, kicking it up a notch, PEW Science. I can't tell you how many times, I think I've said this before, I can't tell you how many times I've tested and had to discard the data. So many reasons why data cannot be appropriate for publication. I mean, there's so many reasons. Some of the reasons, like, they're well known, right? Like, you mess up a test because you use the wrong ammo, because you're like, oh, bonehead play, or the silencer like malfunctioned. That's a weird thing to say. The silencer malfunctioned. The shooter malfunctioned. The weapon malfunctioned, or your brain malfunctioned. Whatever. But the really complex reasons, look, I can't share all those because I can't give you all the sauce, to be frank. But what I'm saying is that sometimes things just click, and all the lessons you've learned, all the hard work, it all just clicks and it pays off, and you just kill the game. You kill it. We killed it. The industry is going to be better for it. Super psyched. Laboratory grade Pew data. Just this Pew data, baby. It's like, look, I know I'm being a little crazy right now. Let me tell you something. Okay. This is like on Breaking Bad. Remember that show, Breaking Bad? When he ends up making like the purest drugs ever because he knows what he's doing, right? I don't know if you've ever seen Breaking Bad. You got to watch it. If you haven't seen it, look, you're going to go down a rabbit hole because it's a long series. Okay, I'm not going to sit here and blow your skirt up and tell you that it's going to be a quick watch. No, it's a lot of episodes. It's a commitment. So, if you have something to do, it might not be the best thing to watch. But you remember it. Look, if you watch that show, this dude, he's a chemistry teacher, and he's like, hey, I need some money. I feel like I could do this. And he does something, and he's just really good at it. He knows what he's doing. And when he looks at his creation, he's like, just for the love of the game. It becomes for the love of the game. At the end of the day, like, he has enough money. He doesn't care about that. What he cares about is like, my stuff is the best. And he's like, he takes this pride in it, right? I mean, I know we're talking about drugs, which is not quite the parallel I want to draw to PEW Science. But what I'm saying is that I feel like the data I generated is so pure that I just want to look at it. Like, I was sitting in front of the computer last night, like looking at waveforms and some initial suppression rating processing that I've done on of those waveforms. And I was comparing it to some other tests and some repeatability studies I've done. And I was just like, yes, this is what I want. This is what you want. I think my nerd is showing like hardcore, but I can't look, I cannot hide emotions. Like, if I'm sad, you'll know. If I'm upset, you'll know. If I'm happy, you're going to know. And I tell you right now, we literally went and had ribeye steaks that night. Like, we were like driving back, and we were like, let's go eat steak and drink wine. Like, that's what happened. Now, I don't want to leave you hanging too badly here. I'm not going to be that guy. I know sometimes I hype some stuff up and it kills you. I respect that. I respect your feelings. Look, I can tell you we did Supersonic 308 and Subsonic 300 Blackout and a little bit of 556 and some variations of 300 Blackout. Did I do Supersonic 300 Blackout? No, that was the last test series, not this one. I'm trying to think. I don't have the matrix in front of me. It was retarded. But that's all. That's really all I can tell you right now. I don't want to tell you everything, but yeah, no. You know what? I did do some Supersonic 300 Blackout. I did. That's right. Yeah, we did. We actually did Supersonic 300 Blackout on several things. Now that I think about it. Not a huge amount of Supersonic 300. I have done, so in this test series, Supersonic 300, I did some Supersonic 300 before too, on some other stuff. But by and large, a lot of the 300 Blackout has been subsonic. In like the hood rat stuff, in the main, like the publicly, like the member funded testing. Certain PEW Science clients like to also have Supersonic 300 Blackout in addition to sub, and it's important, So anyway, so that's kind of the general. It was 30 caliber testing with some 5.56 sprinkled in, sprinkle a little crack on it, sprinkle a little 5.56 on it, yeah. I am, actually, after this test program, guys, I have to say, I am a believer in a couple of things. I'm a believer in a couple of things after this program, and I cannot wait to make you a believer too. One, I'm a believer that Subsonic 300 Blackout can be super quiet. I am now a believer. David, from Discrete Ballistics, if you're listening to this, I believe. I believe. I believe you. Okay, I believe you. It took me a while. I believe you. I'm excited about that because I feel like I have been to the edge of the cliff. I have lived to tell about it and like that kind of thing. Like I have been there now. I've explored it. Like I have shot what I feel is one of the quietest subsonic 300 blackout setups you're ever going to shoot. Like one of the quietest practical 300 blackout setups you're ever going to shoot. I have shot that and it's quiet and I loved it and I can't wait to shoot it for fun. I can tell you that right now. Now, another thing I'm like the second thing I am now a believer in is ultra quiet supersonic 308. I didn't really know how quiet we could get. I didn't know. I did not know. I wasn't sure. I mean, yeah, sure. You just saw the Thunder Beast Ultra 9. Was it last week I showed you that? No, week before last. Whenever I showed you the Ultra 9. You saw that. That's quiet, right? You saw that. It's quiet. It's pretty quiet. Did we get quieter? I don't know, maybe. If we did, how much quieter did we get? Well, you're going to have to stick around and find out. I honestly feel like I'm getting super close to getting some silencers to their forever home. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm getting close to picking my personal favorites to be a Ninja. Like, I might actually already be there. Like, I honestly, I might actually already know what I want for Christmas. All I want for Christmas is Ninja quiet stuff. Like, I'm such a sound nerd. Like, I've said this before, but like, do you honestly think, like, running PEW Science that like I am not a sucker for a quiet setup? Like, come on, man. Like, who in their right mind would do this? First of all, like, full stop. But then who in their right mind would do this and not take full advantage of the suppression rating? Like, do you guys think that I don't look at this data and use it myself? Like, are you crazy? Nah, man, I'm just as obsessed as you. So, look, are my personal picks going to be your picks? I don't know. I mean, they might be. Or we might have like different desires and uses and you never know. Look, that's what's good about this stuff. There really is something for everybody out there. Like, I truly believe that. So I don't, who am I to say what you want? Now, but we do know that some silencers are quieter than others. And boy, howdy, how the differences can matter. I tell you what, I think part of this is the fact that I was so new to 300 blackout and also a bit jaded about 308, to be honest with you. Okay? In the case of subsonic 300 blackout, I'm kind of an infant with my experience level, frankly. Just getting into the cartridge left me with like some assumptions that might have been incorrect. Now that I've spent a lot of time with the cartridge, like technical time, analysis time, and shooting time, as I continue to process data, I'm noticing some interesting things that are causing me to be like, oh, okay. So that's why people say such and such sounds good. Or, oh, okay. So people really have no idea what the heck they're talking about with regard to silencer XYZ. Got it. And look, and it's the same with the jaded 308 stuff. Like, sure, I knew it could be quiet with a good silencer. But after testing some more, I was like, oh, okay. So there are definitely levels to this. There are levels to this. Like, copy that. I now know what is going on. There are levels. Look, I don't know how monumental this is all going to be to the industry, but I'm fairly certain feelings are going to be hurt from many sides. Like, you think some of you smarty pants out there that DM me guessing what silencers are tested all the time, Some of you smarty pants are probably like, I know, you're going to hurt so-and-so's feelings. No, you don't know anything, first of all. You know nothing. Okay? Frankly, like, there are things that are happening with sound that you don't know. It could be, look, here's a hint. I will say, supersonic and subsonic performance are not the same. They're not the same. And the things that perform very well with supersonic cartridges, those can also perform very well in the subsonic regime. They can. But sometimes things that do really well on subsonic have trouble dealing with supersonic. And sometimes there are specialists. Okay? Sometimes there are specialists. There are silencers that excel in certain areas and not others. Like they might be designed for a certain thing, or they might just sometimes it's not that they were not designed for one thing. Sometimes it's just like, well, they didn't think about that, or they're just not good for that, or they're specifically not intended for that. It just depends. I think it just depends on the product. Now, I used to think about things like, or I still do. Sometimes I think, I just need one silencer per gun. You know what I mean? Like, one silencer per gun. Like you've heard me say that a lot. You've heard a lot of people say that. Now I'm afraid we might shift. What if we say something like, I need one silencer for subsonic and one silencer for supersonic and one silencer for machine gun and one for pistol and one for 22. You know, like, could I narrow my silencer collection down to like 5 silencers and literally do everything the best? Like the best? Like maybe, like we might get there. Maybe, like maybe not. Well, maybe not, because like I think about wanting a dedicated subgun silencer, for example, like the GSL Phoenix. GSL Phoenix, you know, I haven't even tested that. I haven't even tested the GSL Phoenix. So, yeah, I haven't even tested the dang thing. Someone told me the other day, they're like, you should get a Wolfman. Dead Air Wolfman. I was like, relax with that. Why would I even, like, why? Why would I even try? No, look, the Gemtech Mark 9K from back in the day, dude, that was around forever. And like super sweet sounding silencer, but way before the suppression rating, way before PEW Science, way before PewSoft, way before like I was really hardcore into silencers. There was the Gemtech Mark 9K. Okay, and GSL, the guys who make the stuff, they brought it back and they call it the Phoenix, and it's user serviceable. And like, why would I not test that first and then make a decision about what subgun silencer I want? Because right now, my subgun needs are met by my SWR Trident. That's a sealed design. It's super small and light and quiet. It is quiet. It is great. But you know, I'm all about that fat subgun life. I mean, man, could you imagine having a really fat subgun can that you could clean? That's what I want. I don't have one. So I should do, you know what? I should do a subgun test series with the Mac. Like a true subgun test series. That would actually be valuable. Like do a Mac and an MP5 and a Space Invader, like a CMMG, like rotationally delayed blowback host or something too. Like a true subgun series. That'll probably happen next year. I think we should do that. I think that's something that it's going to hurt a lot of feelings, but what do I do that doesn't hurt feelings? Now, so yeah, I have data from previous test series to show you still. Like I actually have a lot still to show you. But as I process data from this new series, we'll get some cool articles to you. And I also have a feeling, a very strong feeling that some of the, well, it will. Some of the privately funded testing that we did is going to be released to you too. Like absolutely, which is going to be really cool. The first privately funded reports to be publicly released by PEW Science, that's going to be a big deal. So when that happens, you're going to see a disclaimer, okay, on those reviews. It's going to indicate a funding source. Okay? That way, and I've been telling you guys this, that was going to happen. Now, that way everyone will know, like in full transparency, like who paid for what. The good thing is, like I said this on social media this week. The suppression rating is a user universal thing, and it is verifiable, meaning that if you ever have a doubt that the suppression rating is real, all you have to do is shoot the gun with a silencer. That's all you have to do, and then you'll see it's real. That's the beauty of the suppression rating. It's actually one of the easiest things to prove, but the hardest thing to create. You understand? The suppression rating is provable by anyone who takes all the combinations tested and shoots them together. Like, okay, to take an example from the last episode. Okay, the last episode of this podcast. If you took a Thunder Beast Ultra 9 on your 308 bolt action and you shot it, and then you shot a Dead Air Sandman L on the same gun, and then you went and you looked at PEW Science reviews for those two silencers on 20-inch barrel 308 bolt action, and you looked at the suppression rating, you would be like, yep, I believe that rating 100% all day, every day. Like that. I mean, it really, that's all it takes. Like if you ever had a doubt, just find someone with the freaking silencers and then shoot them. Like that's how this is so beautiful. That's the power of PEW Science. Quantitative data that meshes with reality. Like, what a time to be alive, right? Like, look, I actually told a dude, this is a good example. I actually told a dude on social media on Monday when he asked me, hey, so what part of the rating is subjective? I told him, dude, none of the rating is subjective. Like, absolutely nothing. It's all quantitative, to the point that I literally use it for my own purchasing decisions. Like, I literally trust it more than I trust me shooting the gun. Okay? Like, look, to be clear, like, let me give you a little bit peek behind the curtain, folks. Like, I usually test with hearing protection in. Because I'm shooting so many rounds. Like, if I'm shooting something I have a feeling is going to be super quiet, like, I'll do it without ears just for the love of the game, just to see how it sounds. But man, I have been wrong before. Like I've been burned, like, personally, like, testing. Like, I have definitely hurt my ears with stuff I thought was going to be quiet. It sucked. Like, I think I'm more careful now when I test. It is hard to trust stuff. It is hard to trust silencers. Like, now, 300 blackout subsonic with some stuff is super cool. And I can do that, like, without ears. But some of that 300 subsonic stuff, I still don't trust. And I put my ears on because I'm shooting a bunch of rounds over and over and over again. And I know, like, the suppression rating will tell you, well, this is how many shots you can expect and comfortable ears. And it's like, yeah, that's true. But then you got to think about how much I'm shooting in a day. Like, how many tests I've performed and how many rounds in each test. Like, I'm not just going out and shooting one gun, one silencer, one mag. Like, I'm not doing that. Like, I'm shooting hundreds of rounds through all kinds of stuff with all kinds of weapons. And so it's hard. I don't know. Like, I honestly, I still put ears on And I think that's important for you guys to understand. Like, I think sometimes people think like, oh man, that sounds like fun. I was like, yeah, it is fun, but it's also like super hard, and I don't really get to enjoy a lot of it because I don't get to hear it. Some of it I get to hear. Now, look, I actually don't know what I know until I compute the suppression rating. Like, I don't know what it's going to be, so I always put my ears on because I don't know. Like, so anyway, that's how I answer the guy's question. I use the rating just like you do. Like, I literally, like, I'm using it like you are using it. Now, there is a one subjective portion of PEW Science, but that only exists in the subjective portion of each review. Like at the very bottom of each review. Oh, and this podcast, obviously. Like, I give my opinions on this podcast. Just where I speak to you like a normal human being. This is just, the way I'm speaking, this is just how I talk. Like, I'm not putting on airs or something. I'm not like trying to be all crazy. Like, this is just how I am. So other than that, and like the subjective portion in the reviews, like, this is just math. It's just math, guys. Like, literally, it's just math and physics. Like, it's not like the suppression rating is math. I could not change it. I could not change the suppression rating or influence it if I tried. Like, that would be wrong. Like, I just use the system I developed to compute the rating. It would do me no good to massage it. Like, it wouldn't do me any good. Like, that's not, because then it would be wrong, and you would know. Like, you would know when you shot the gun. Like, you would literally, like, how can I fool you? Like, that would be a bad idea. Like, I can't fake it. You would know. I have no reason to fake it because, look, I want the quietest silencers for myself, guys. So, like, that would do me absolutely no good. I literally want to test things because I want there to be alien technology in, like, everyone's hands. Like, I want everyone to have alien technology. The suppression rating is self-policing. Okay, it's impossible to fake, and that's what makes it cool. It's like Bitcoin for your ears. Like, your ears can never spoof the encryption key for this. Like, you are human. You just can't fake it. You can only hear what you hear. Like, that's why it's cool. Like, this is, look, and there may come a time when someone disputes the suppression rating, and when that time comes, I will be ready to defend it. Like, the process, this is how it's going to go. It's going to involve the accusing party supplying me with high fidelity waveforms so that we can analyze their data and then see what's leading them to believe what they believe. That's one way it could go. The other thing that could happen, like, I guess, like, what we could do if that party has no actual data, what we could do would be to get some kind of like audience consensus. Like, we could say, like, we could do a poll and say, okay, party A is saying that silencer X is quieter than silencer Y on gun Z with ammo R. And then, like, can anyone in party B confirm or deny this claim? You know what I mean? And then we would go down the list. And then if there was some kind of lopsided consensus indicating PEW Science was incorrect or something, like on the suppression rating, like on the relative suppression rating, we would investigate further. And even then, like, we would test again if we thought it prudent. You know what I mean? Like, like, if it was prudent. Like, for example, if our testing resulted in some kind of revision to the results, like, that substantially differed with our initial conclusion, or from our initial conclusion, like, we would issue a retraction. Like, it hasn't happened yet, but like, I'm prepared to deal with it. Like, I'm prepared to deal with that situation should it arise. Like, that's something I have thought about. Like, I like, from the beginning, I thought, well, like, what's going to happen when there's conflict? Like, how will I handle that? How will I approach that intelligently and transparently to ensure that trust is maintained? Blah 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 blah. You know what I mean? Like, that's something, like, it's crossed my mind. It will happen. Like, there's going to be, like, everyone in the history of silencer of the silencer community in the United States knows that there will be blood. Like, that it will happen. Like, there's already been blood. but you just don't see it because I don't talk about the dirty laundry because it's just not professional. And like, there's no reason we need to talk about that publicly. But like, there will be like significantly more, and it will get ugly. But like, PEW Science is not going to be involved like in craziness. Like, we're just going to stick to our guns and stick to facts. Like, that's what PEW Science is about. So anyway, yeah. So look, actually, it's funny. I told a guy in the industry this week, I said, look, after I spoke with him about some issues he was having with some manufacturers, poor guy. Shout out to you, sir. Anyway, it was similar to an issue I was having. I said, hey man, just do the right thing. When you are honest, you have the truth on your side. You can never go wrong when you do nothing wrong. Like, that's what's cool about the truth. And I meant that. I really do mean that. And it's amazing how many people in the firearms industry don't abide by that. Like, it's not. But yeah, just be careful out there, folks. Just be careful. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on. Now, speaking of the firearms industry and the silencer industry specifically, PEW Science is making great strides to be able to source silencers for testing from literally everywhere. ATF talks are this week, actually. At the PEW Science ATF Summit, as I like to call it. We are meeting with them this week. And we're doing some big things. More to come on that. I will say, a lot of you folks have been asking, the Dead Air Nomads and the OSS silencers and all that stuff, that's going to be coming. And PEW Science will become intimately familiar with those silencers. Okay, that will happen. The plans are being set in motion. So buckle up, buckaroos. I will update you as I can, but buckle up, buckaroos. Can't stop PEW Science. You can't stop me. You can't not. I am not playing. I'm not playing. Okay, topic 2. New sound signature review this week, possibly, maybe, kind of, maybe, possibly. Normally, I would have something somewhat prepared ahead of time, like a prepared individual. But due to testing, I am afraid I don't have anything yet. But I am going to work on something maybe this evening. Dang it. Look, I'm not making any promises, but look, actually, to be quite honest with you, one of the reasons, like, okay, yeah, it was testing. I'm going to use that as an excuse. But also another excuse I'm going to use. You notice I'm using the word excuse and not reason. Another excuse I'm going to use is that I couldn't quite pick. I had one picked out, and then I did this test series, and I was like, oh man, now I want to do this. So I'm going to, I don't know. I want to release some stuff for completion. Like not everything is going to be a barn burner I give you, okay? It's not all going to be like last week, or Thunder Beast. It's not going to always go, whoa, look at this. Like, it's not all going to be crazy. Like, we have to test everything. So like, not every silencer is going to be awesome, and not every silencer is going to be super interesting. But like, sometimes I have to release stuff to give you folks a complete picture of the different stuff. Like, I had to tell you, and I'm only one man. Look, there is some stuff out there that has designs that are kind of common or similar to some Form 1 stuff, I think. Obviously. Because, a lot of the Form 1 stuff is coming from the industry stuff. Now, I feel like every time I release something, the Form 1 people see it and get something out of it. Because those are the guys busy tweaking and investigating and learning, and it's really awesome. Sure, there's a whole group of people, including myself, that like really gets off on wanting the quietest thing for hunting or target shooting or whatever. But there's also a huge group of people that they're just wanting to learn how to build a better mousetrap. Now, I respect that a lot. I really do. I think it's cool. I'll try to come up with something to give you, like, maybe. At first I was thinking something, the one I had picked out was something old school I tested to give you guys a blast from the past. And I was going to say, well, maybe you can look at some old performance and see how it hangs with the new school stuff. I thought that was going to be cool. But then I was thinking, like earlier today, I was thinking, man, maybe I can give you something cool on Thursday that you've seen on 308. But maybe what you want to see on Subsonic 300 Blackout, so you can see already how it compares. Like maybe I could start that. You know what I mean? Like, I usually much more put together with my plan of data release, but then I threw a big old monkey wrench into my plans when I did testing. Because like every time I do a new test program, I'm like, oh man, now there's this. And I get so like kid in the candy store excited with this data. And I'm like, oh my God, there's so much. And I would just like, I wish I could just press a button and it would all just be out there and we would all have it all. And that's just not, it's not possible. So we're going to stick to a schedule. And I think after this week, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to grab a cup of hot chocolate and watch some scary movies and relax. And then me and the girlfriend are going to hang out. I'm going to do some thinking and then I'll come up with a better plan. But like right now, I'm going to give you some stuff. I'm still processing data from this test series too. Plus I got to work on like my contracts that I have for PEW Science work to make sure that those guys get their deliverables. And so maybe once that's all done too, we'll get a better picture of like the path forward. Because if some of those folks decide to release their stuff publicly, well then you're going to get those and that might be released like on a date they want because like they own the data. And then like I actually don't have a choice. I'll be like, okay, we're releasing that. And that's what people are getting now. That's actually new territory for me because I'm like, I haven't released that stuff before. So I'm like, oh my God, I hope you like it. You know, it's like one of those things. Yeah. I don't know. I think we also have to set some expectations. We have to continue to set expectations for you with sound. I did a gigantic question and answer Q&A. No, it wasn't a Q&A. I asked a question on Instagram yesterday, the day before, Monday, and I was like, hey, where do you guys think the suppression rating is going to max out on certain things like Supersonic 308, bolt action? Like, where do you think it's going to max out? And then where do you think the suppression rating is going to max out for Subsonic 300 Blackout? And I just put that on my Instagram. I had no idea I was going to receive the responses that I did. I got like a lot of responses. That was awesome. Thank you guys so much for participating in that. I learned a few things. I think we learned a few things from that because I posted all the answers, or most of them. Some of them I didn't post because I was like, what is wrong with you? I'm not going to post that. Because it was just really rude or like something that was like highly inappropriate, unprofessional. I was like, I'm not going to post that. Like, that's not productive for PEW Science. I had one, should I even say this? Never mind. They don't deserve to be talked about. Anyway, so we learned a lot from your responses. Some of the folks were like, oh my God, I think we're going to top out at 70 or 80 for Subsonic 300 Blackout. I think we're going to top out at like 50 for Supersonic 308. Some people are like, I think we're going to hit 80 with 300 Blackout Subsonic, or we're going to go to 90s. And some people are like, well, man, we're only going to go to like 40 with Supersonic 308. And I was like, please go to pewscience.com and look at the Thunder Beast Ultra 9 review and see that we've already passed 46. Come on. Yeah, actually, that actually hurt my feelings because I was like, you don't even read the reviews? I was like, you don't even look at the suppression rating? I was like, I put so much work into it. Please look at the number in the big black the big black font at the top of each review. You don't even have to read the review. Just click on it and look at the number, the 2-digit number, please. Oh my God, jeez, like the audacity. I was like, are you seriously telling me right now that you don't know that Thunder Beast got a 46? Did you not? Like, have I just not been announcing that correctly? Should I like be posting those numbers like in my profile? Like, okay, there's a newsletter. You sign up for that. And then every day of the review, I post a dang story and a freaking permanent Instagram post and a Facebook post and a Twitter post. I don't monitor Twitter, but there's an account that posts. Look, do I seriously need to be like posting the reviews to a story every day or something. Like, I don't, like, you guys just not looking at that? Like, what? Like, I actually blew my mind because it wasn't just like one or two people. Like, several people were like, oh, I think Supersonic 308 is going to get up to 35. And I was like, 35? Holy crap. We're at 46. The Thunder Beast Ultra 9 got a 46. Like, overall, composite rating. Right? 46.1, right? Was it? Oh, crap. You're going to make me look. I'm going to make myself look here. PEWScience.com. Reviews. Click. Okay. Yeah, 46.1. I was right. At the ear, 45.9. How are you going to say 30s? It's right there. Dang, latest review at the top of the page. Sound signature review 624, Thunder Beast Ultra 9, the Savage Model 10, precision carbine, and 308, 20-inch barrel. It's right there. It's right there. Come on, man. Anyway, so we learned that a couple things. We learned that some of you are really paying attention. We learned that some of you are not. And we learned that the suppression rating is getting traction as a metric. And boy, am I excited about that. My mission is to have you walk into a gun store. No. Let me back up. My mission is for you to be at the shooting range with your buddies or at your wherever you are shooting, and someone shoots their suppressed small arm setup that they have, and you hear it and you're like, dude, that legit sounded like a suppression rating of 50. That was like pretty quiet. Like, I know my setup, I've heard someone shoot my setup from far away and it sounded like a 50. And then you shoot it and you're like, oh my God, dude, that sounded, I think that was still like in the 40s. That might have been like a 45 at the ear. Because that's kind of what mine sounded like. That's about how loud mine was. And mine's around a 45 at the ear. So this is probably around a 45 at the ear. And you should be able to do that because that's what stuff's going to sound like. You're going to know because the suppression rating is based on perception too. Like, that's in there. So that's what I want for you. Because the next best thing is shooting it yourself. You're either you're going to shoot it yourself or you're going to see the suppression rating on PEWScience.com. There is no other way. What? Someone's going to say, well, that sounded like 120 decibels to me. You can't know that. Because that doesn't mean anything. The suppression rating means something. And it's tied to perception. And so my goal for that is that's what you guys are going to be using. And I bet you will. Once I start releasing data for silencers that you've heard on platforms, you're going to be like, oh. Like, you're going to see a silencer on 300 blackout that measures the same as another silencer on 308. And you're going to be like, oh, a word? Like, Jay, are you telling me that? You're telling me that silencer on 308 was the same as this other silencer on 300 blackout? Man, that one on 300 blackout's not that quiet. I'm like, yeah, I know. I know it's not. And now you know. And you'd be like, dang, I'm so glad I set my expectations. And I'm like, oh, same, brother. And then there's going to be folks that are like, but it sounds different. I don't think the suppression rating is the same at all. I'm like, okay, well, it is. So, okay. Yeah, this is what's going to happen. Someone's going to shoot a supersonic 308 through like a quiet, like a Thunder Beast Ultra 9, right? They're going to shoot the Thunder Beast Ultra 9 on supersonic 308. And they're going to hear the sonic crack downrange. And they're going to shoot a subsonic 300 blackout through a different silencer on a different platform. And it's actually like the same suppression rating at the ear, but they're not going to hear the supersonic crackdown range. So they're going to be like, well, clearly that's not the same suppression rating. And I'm going to be like, no, that's not how this works. Okay, just because you can hear something you didn't hear in one signature doesn't make the rating different. That just means it's a different signature. The rating is tied to the entire thing happening. It doesn't have to be the same thing to get the same rating. It just has to be the same signature load on your ear. Okay, it's just like if you had a bucket and you need to fill that bucket up with 50 pounds of material. If you had 50 pounds of sand and 50 pounds of marbles, it's still 50 pounds. Does that help you? Okay, good. That's the old adage, right? Was that in kindergarten you learned 50 pounds of feathers is the same as 50 pounds of bricks? And like the slow kids were like, wait, what? Look, we're not talking about density. This is kindergarten. We're talking about weight. Topic 3. Some silencer industry forecasts. Yeah. I thought this would be a cool topic. I sometimes I like talking about this stuff. And I can't wait to talk about this with some guests. Actually, there's been some folks reaching out to me for some guests. I did a podcast with the Reloading All Day guys, the Reloading All Day podcast, Rad, that podcast on YouTube. Check those out. Google those guys. Google Reloading All Day. They're super cool. Me and David from Discrete Ballistics, the Reloading, and the 2 Reloading All Day guys did that a week ago or something. Like, we used Zoom, which sucked. Poor guy. He was using Zoom, and like he paid for Zoom, but it was still kicking us off. I think I might use Skype. If I can get Skype figured out, because I have a meeting with the ATF with Skype. So if I can figure that out with the ATF and it's cool, I will totally do a podcast like that. And there's like former Silencer Co. employees that want to do podcasts with me. There's manufacturers. There's Kyler from Performance Driven Defense. He's a PEW Science member. Shout out to Kyler. Like, he wants to do one. I think I would totally love to do a podcast with him. I want to do a podcast with Riley from HK. Shout out to Riley. I want to do one with I want to do one with the CGS guys, but that could be really long because Bobby, you're like me, man. You're gonna be long winded, and then we're gonna talk for 5 hours, and it's gonna be a problem. Anyway, this is what I want to talk with this I want to talk about this topic, the silencer industry forecast, with all those guys. But here, let me give you my thoughts right now. So, I'm not a manufacturer, obviously. I don't make silencers. I have no interest in doing that. I really don't. Like, don't worry, all you manufacturers. I'm not a threat to you. I'm not going to start making silencers. They're super cool. Like, I don't have time and I don't care. I just want you to make them for me so I can use them. But I am pursuing my Type 7 FFL, so which I almost have. So then, the SOT and everything, the 0702, I will technically be able to make them. I can make silencers, but I won't. But hey, I will use that capability to configure firearms for testing very quickly. That is pretty much why I'm doing that. So, among other things. Now, look, like, let's say I want to make an SBR like super quick, and I don't want to go file Form 1 like a chump. Like, if I just want to put like a short barrel upper on a lower that may not be a SBR, you know what I'm saying? And because I got to test it. I want to be able to do that quickly, and that's one example why PEW Science is why we pursued the Type 7 and why we talked to the ATF about that and why they okayed it. They were like, yeah, roger that. They're like, ATF knows about PEW Science. You should know that. Like, ATF is aware of us. They know exactly what we're doing. They are supportive of what we're doing, in a way, I guess you could say. And so they are. We are in discussions with them, and they know that we are not a firearms dealer. We are a research organization. That's why we're doing the Type 7 thing. And so, but although it's legally a manufacturer, it's not in the traditional sense of the world, and that's why really I'm not qualified, and really I cannot speak to all the industry trends, for example, but I can speak about some observations. I just wanted to tell you all that and preface this because I don't want you to think that I'm sitting here pretending to be something I'm not. Like, I'm a manufacturer and I know I'm not, and I don't want to do that, and I'm not privy to all that information, guys. I'm just not. But here's four observations that I've made recently. Now, one, I think silencers are selling really easily. And I think that if you can spell the word silencers, you can sell silencers. whoever makes the most can sell a lot. It's a volume game right now, baby. It is a volume game. And like I know, like I might be naive. Admittedly, I might be naive, and I might be one of those guys who like thinks they know what they're talking about, and I don't know. And look, you can slap me, correct me, man. Like send me an email. You know what? Send me a text, a DM, email me if I'm off base here, guys. Like if any of you manufacturers are listening to me and thinking I'm like out of line when I'm saying this, but honestly, I think this is a volume game right now. I know this happens a lot in different industries, but right now, what I see consumers buying stuff that I'm just like, really? You're really buying that silencer? Okay. You know there's like way better silencers. Like, what? And then like there's so many other great silencers. And then I see consumers say, oh, I heard that one sucks. I'm like, really? What? What is up with the market right now? Like, it's weird. I just see like everything selling. I'm just like, okay, it's your money. So that's what I see. That's a market observation. Another observation I have is quality doesn't seem to be at the top of the list right now for people. Like for some reason, like some stuff is like I had a manufacturer send me stuff for direct testing, like a private contract. I looked at the quality and I was like, oh my God, this is so nice. And this is like a lesser known manufacturer. Actually, not a lot of people know about them. And I was like, oh my God, this is beautiful. It was actually like, I actually got comments. I got comments from several people who saw it and they were like, that is nice. And I was like, it is, isn't it? The machining is really good. And like, you've never heard of this company. I guarantee you. Actually, if you're listening to the podcast, I could almost guarantee you, unless you're the company I'm talking about, you haven't heard of this company. And hey, if they decided to release their data, you'll see that. But like I saw that and I was like, okay, cool. There are people out here making cool stuff. I'm sorry, that's a bad choice of words. There are people out here making high quality stuff still, and they're the little guy. Well, then if they're doing that, why the heck can't some of these bigger guys make good quality stuff? Is it because of mass production? Probably. You know what? I just answered my own question. Okay, well, maybe I'm dumb. Third observation. No. Wait, let me go back. Let me go back to the second observation about quality because I don't think I finished with that. The thing about quality is that I don't think people are focusing on it as much as consumers. Like, you guys know there are high quality manufacturers out there. Let's name a couple of them. Let's name a couple of the really big names that produce high quality stuff. I think CGS has pretty good quality. Some of the way they package their silencers might not be the best. I think their cases are cool, but like, I don't know. They're a smaller operation. They're learning, they're growing, but their silencers themselves are like amazingly great. I think the product itself is crazy good quality. I think Q has great quality. From what I've seen, I think Rugged has amazing quality. Like Rugged's fit and finish is like, their fit and finish has got to be up there. Is it perfect? No one's perfect, but their fit and finish is like off the chain. Those are three. Silencer Co. Have I seen like a brand new silencer from Silencer Co. lately? I haven't, but I bet their quality's good. They have they can make their own stuff. Here's some other big ones. There's nothing popping out to me in my head right now, and I'm probably forgetting something, and someone's gonna get mad, but that's fine. But I'm just thinking like those are some like really good ones, and that's cool. Like really, like to when you look at it, you're like, dang, that is a. Oh, you know who's Thunder Beast? But they're not that big. Or maybe they are. Maybe they are big, and I just don't know how big they are. But like they make really nice things. You know. But what are consumers looking for? Do consumers recognize that about those companies I just spoke about? Which, by the way, that is not an all-inclusive list. There are companies that have really great quality I'm not mentioning. Those are just like on the top. They're floating to the top of my brain right now for whatever reason. Whatever I'm dealing with right now. Yeah. So why are consumers not focusing on? I've noticed consumers aren't focusing on that as much. I think it's because marketing makes everything look pretty. Maybe it's because they're not listening to their fellow consumers. Like maybe consumers need to start asking other consumers, "Hey, like what looks awesome? Like what seems really good?" I don't know, maybe that's dangerous. I don't know. There's no like quality reviews. I don't offer those, so I don't know what to tell you, but I do. Maybe you should go to the gun stores. Maybe you should go hold the silencers and shoot them before. Maybe you should put your hands on these things before you buy them. Maybe you can't all the time, but I don't know. That's just my observation. Third observation: sound. Sound doesn't seem to be at the top of the list at all. At all. Like I don't know what the heck's going on. People are like, "Yeah, I'm gonna buy these loud silencers." I don't really care what they sound like. What are you doing? Like so, honestly, we know that the longer we're in the silencer game, we realize sometimes we don't need this quiet a silencer because we're doing something else. I get it. I'm in that camp. Like I have some stuff that's not quiet that should be definitely quieter. Um, but there's just not a focus on it, and so PEW Science is going to change that. Promise. I hope to at least. My fourth and final observation is that I think I'm just going to tie these together and say marketing is resulting in the quality and sound just not being on the top of the lists. And I think my observation about marketing is that I think marketing is great and marketing is also very bad. And used in the wrong hands, marketing can be detrimental to a consumer. Detrimental to consumer satisfaction. That is an observation that I have. So my forecast, I told you I was going to give a forecast. My forecast is that if the market shifts, quality and sound are going to become more important. So either the market shifts and people panic and they continue to buy, or the demand drops for some reason and the market shifts in a way to make selling harder. And if selling becomes harder, that's where the best products will be valuable. That's when the best stuff becomes valuable, right? Because when that happens, that's going to happen eventually. And buckle up when it does, and because it's happened before in the silencer industry. It wasn't too long ago when people actually cared about performance, and marketing is interesting. And the chickens always come home to roost. They always do. The chickens always come home to roost, and when you wait a year for that silencer and you put it on your gun and you shoot it and your ears ring, just know that could have been prevented. And that could have been prevented by the person making the silencer, or it could have been prevented by the person marketing that silencer, and it could have been prevented by the person selling that silencer. Those are 3 layers of protection that failed you if that happens. And why? Why did those layers of protection fail you? Because of money. That's why. No other reason. So that's my market forecast. It's not really a forecast. It's more of a, this is what I think will happen eventually, which may or may not be true, disclaimer, but hey, that's what I think. Now, another forecast I would like to make is regarding performance. Like, are we going to see a resurgence in performance metrics like sound and accuracy? Man, I hope so. I really do. That's one of the goals of PEW Science. I want to make it so that people actually care about sound. I really do. Somewhere along the way, we lost our way. Somewhere along the way, people fooled people into thinking you couldn't have quiet guns. I don't like that. I don't like that. I think that ever since I put a 3-lug silencer on an MP5 and shot it back in the day, I realized the power of a good silencer and what that meant. Sure, 22 is quiet. Look, 22 long rifle subsonic is quiet. But have you ever shot an MP5 with a really quiet 9mm silencer? I'm not saying it's quieter than 22. I'm talking about what it's doing. If you haven't shot an MP5 with a really quiet 9mm silencer, it's ridiculous. It doesn't even make sense how quiet you can make an MP5. It doesn't make sense. It shouldn't. It should not make sense to you. And for that reason, I think everyone should set their bars a little differently. I'm sort of tired of people recommending loud silencers when someone asks for a quiet silencer. I'm tired of it. It bothers me. When someone asks you for a quiet silencer and it's not cool. Someone is spending their hard-earned money and waiting a year. If you don't know how loud something is, just don't recommend it. If you don't know. Because it's not right. It's not right. Look, it's not right to try to convince someone to buy the thing you have that sucks because misery loves company. That's not right. That's not the right thing to say is, I don't know, man. I have this thing and it's louder than I thought. Maybe there's something better. Like, there's nothing wrong with saying that. And then the person will thank you. Like, if you're a dealer or a distributor and you sell someone something you know is loud and there's a better option, but you just wanted to sell them something to move product, like, how do you sleep at night? Like, how can you be okay with that? Like, it's not okay. I don't think that's okay at all, man. And I think that's wrong. And look, now, if you thought you were doing the right thing, that's different. That's different, okay? I'm not talking about that. But if you know something's loud, like a guy the other day told me that a guy at his local shop tried to sell him a Sandman K when he was trying to get a quiet silencer for his gun. A Sandman K. Really? That thing's barely a silencer. And that made me mad. Like, that's like saying, oh yeah, here's a rugged Radiant in the short configuration. That's going to really take that edge off for you, buddy. You go hunt with your kid. Why don't you go ahead and put that rugged Radiant in the short configuration on that gun for your 5-year-old kid when you're teaching him to shoot. He's going to love it. Tell you what. Yeah, that'd be a responsible thing to tell a kid and his father when he blows his kid's ears out because he thinks he's using a silencer. That'd be great to tell him. Why don't you go ahead and put the Sandman K on your AR, buddy? You're gonna love it. It's gonna be so quiet. Yeah, it's not gonna wake the dead at all. Holy guacamole! It's like that guy with the Sandman K. Like, it's like he wanted something quiet. That he didn't say, "Oh, I just want something to take the edge off of my hard use SBR that's compact because I'm gonna have heaters on anyway." No. He said, "I want something that's pretty quiet for my AR." The guy says, Sandman K? Okay. That means you're a liar. That makes me angry. Don't mislead consumers. It's rude. It's not right. It's not right. You don't do the right thing. Man, come on. Rude. The industry is going to go in interesting places. I think the people who make the silencers are going to stay busy until it's time to pay the piper. And then we'll see when they need to pay the piper and cut back on production. Because demand plummets, that's going to suck. I hope that doesn't happen. I have a feeling that the tides will shift. Look, I for one welcome a change in the industry, and I hope performance becomes important and the people doing innovative and quality stuff get elevated and lifted up. I want the bar raised. I don't want to see mediocre stuff keep getting rewarded. How are we supposed to grow? I think we've reached the pinnacle of... Well, no. I'm not going to say that. You know, when you look at subsonic suppression, sometimes you want to say you've reached the pinnacle of subsonic suppression technology just because you got bullet flight noise and a pressure wave, and then you just make the silencer longer. And that might not be true. We might not have, because what if you could make it super quiet in like a small package, and we don't know that. But like supersonic suppression technology, have we reached the pinnacle of that? No freaking way. I mean, there's some crazy stuff out there, but are we done? I don't think so. I don't think as an industry, I don't think the industry's done. How are we going to grow without raising the bar? Come on, man. Why are we going to let really loud stuff that's claimed to be quiet still exist? That's another question for you. It shouldn't. It shouldn't exist. What if you could just have stuff that worked and the other stuff just died because it wasn't good? That'd be nice. But then again, you get cars on the road that suck. So who am I kidding, right? Anyway, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Topic 4. What am I excited about in the silencer world? I'm excited for a few things. I'm excited for ultra quiet supersonic rifle performance. I really am. I'm really excited for that. I'm excited for the masses to get that. I am excited for ultra quiet centerfire subsonic, like 300 blackout, and maybe even like 8.6 blackout or 375 Raptor or whatever. Pick your big bore subsonic love child on the AR-10 platform. Whatever. Like, I'm excited for that stuff. Look, I'm not touching 8.6 until I get a full handle on 300 though. Like, I'm not. Look. Like I told you guys before, I waited 10 years for 300 blackout. I'm not saying I'm going to wait 10 years for 8.6, but I sure as heck am not going to adopt something like that right away. Like, I'm not crazy. Well, I say that now. But we'll see what happens in reality. Now, I'm excited to regularly shoot 300 blackout subsonic out of a bolt gun, like the mini fix, like without hearing protection. Like, that excites me. That excites me now. Because I've done it. Like, I've shot it. I'm also excited for truly lightweight modularity in a pistol silencer. I'm excited about that. I think the answer to that is the Erector 9. I think that's what I've been waiting for a very long time. I might finally get what I've been waiting for. I can't wait to test it. I cannot wait. Look, I haven't shot it. Don't think that I have access to some Erector 9. Like, I don't. Like, I'm going to. I'm going to test it. Like, I already talked to Q about that. Like, they're going to send me one, but like, I haven't shot it. Like, I've held it. It's cool. Like, I'm super stoked about it. It's light. I'm all about light on pistols, dude. And I want it to be good. Oh my God, I hope it's good. I'm going to be so disappointed if it's not good. I'll try to hide my disappointment, but I probably won't. I'll let you know. I'll be honest. I'm always honest. So I hope I'm not disappointed. I bet it's going to be cool, though. They wouldn't make something dumb, so it'll probably be cool. Now, one would think. Now, another thing I'm excited about is converting the AR to 9mm with a rotating delay blowback system from CMMG. Like, I don't know how I haven't done that yet. I just haven't had time. But, like, doing that and putting that on a full auto lower, yes, I will eventually do that. Like, maybe that's on the list for 2021 when we do our subgun program. Like, the full auto version of that. Maybe that's on the list. Like, rate of fire testing. Wouldn't that be cool? That's another thing I have to show you that I did with PewSoft. Like, I talked about a couple episodes again. I've done rate of fire testing with, like, full auto with PewSoft. I just haven't had time to, like, there's so much data. It's like, what? You want silencer reviews? You want rate of fire? Like, what do you want? You probably want silencer reviews. So that's what I'm focusing on. Oh, another thing I'm excited about. How quiet can we make 5.56? I heard a manufacturer on their Instagram story yesterday saying, this manufacturer, someone asked them, what's your favorite barrel length? It was like one of those question and answer sessions. Said, what's your favorite barrel length for 5.56? And the manufacturer person said, like, one of their marketing guys said, 20-inch 5.56 was their favorite barrel length. That's what they said. Okay. It's definitely quieter. Maybe they want the velocity. I could see that. I respect that. 20-inch barrel. Or maybe their silencers are loud and that's why they like it. Could be that too. Maybe their silencers are loud and that they like that because it's probably velocity. I would say velocity because why else would you want to AR? Like, an AR is like, yeah, probably velocity for hunting, I would think. Like, when I kill stuff with an 18-inch AR, it dies well. So that's cool. I don't know. What are you guys excited about, man? Let me know. Let me know in the comments on the website, or like via email or something, or DM me on Instagram. Tell me what you're excited about, man. I want to know. Maybe we can share some of that with folks. Like, maybe we can get a conversation going. I'm excited about stuff like this. Like, there's probably more, but I can't think of anything off the top of my head that's really blowing my skirt up. I used to be excited about the Hudson 9. I did. And then someone told me that, like, Daniel Defense is bringing it back. The one thing, look, I was talking with a guy in the industry about it. Like, he has one, and he said that it's the trigger. And this is what I told the guys at Hudson, or the husband and wife at Hudson, the physicist lady, the lady who designed it. I think she's a physicist. I told her when I met her, I said, hey, your trigger's cool, but like when you squeeze it like a typical trigger, it has this weird cam action. She was offended, and I'm sorry, ma'am. Like, I didn't mean to offend you. I just thought your trigger felt weird. And so I was talking to this guy in the industry that had one. He agreed with me. I was like, okay, good. Like, I didn't think I was crazy. I did think that trigger felt weird. But I think if you like just jerk the trigger like a normal crazy pistol shooter would do, like, it'll feel fine. But if you like try to like lever it, like push the trigger like you would do like if you're just like using good trigger control, it feels weird because it kind of cams in a weird way. So I was excited for that gun, but then it went away. I was excited for the Maxim 9 from Silencer Co. I've never shot one. I heard it's cool. I was excited for I don't know. There's not a lot of them I get excited for. So we'll see. You share with me what you guys think. That would be really cool. I would really appreciate that. We could talk about it. Okay, topic 5. Welcome to new PEW Science members. Man, thank you for your support. I always say it. I always mean it. These few months, I don't know what month we're in. It's October now. I think we've been doing 5 months now. It's been 5 months. Oh, thereabouts. Somewhere like that. Maybe 6 months? No. Maybe. But so far, these months have been great, and we've learned a lot, and we're still going. There's so much to do. There's so much still to do. We're just getting started, but the support has been great. And man, this new member reached out to me today. I love when that happens. His name is Justin. Shout out to you, sir. Apparently, he and I had interacted on Instagram a lot in the past, but he was not a member. Just a guy. We talked about guns, and I answered his questions, and blah, blah, blah. He decided to join. He told me he decided to join. He told me this after I asked, because I emailed him when he joined. He's like, hey, how'd you hear about PEW Science? Cool email. He had a cool email address. It was like his email address was about an HK weapon system, but in German. I was like, oh, this guy must be a silencer guy. Turns out he was. He told me he just got his full Nelson approved. He as a Q full Nelson, that's their full size 30 caliber direct thread silencer. It's that titanium silencer, large diameter. He just got his approved. He told me, this is his words. He told me he put it on his 716 Gen 2 DMR in 308, and it is amazing. That's what he said, his exact words. And then he said he also uses it on his AAC handy rifle in 300 blackout subsonic, and he said it's stupid quiet. That is his exact words on that, his feedback. I said, well, I haven't shot it on that DMR before, but I said, yes, sir, for that subsonic handy rifle, I bet you that is a good description. Stupid quiet is probably correct. I love that. I love when members interact with me and they email me and they talk to me how they found PEW Science, why they like it, what they hope to get out of it, and then like what they're shooting, like what's their gun, like what's their thing they're shooting right now, like what are they into, what's their passion, like what is blowing their skirt up, what gets them excited. And this guy, his full Nelson's getting him excited, and I bet you that full Nelson is giving him joy of shooting, and that is beautiful. That is beautiful to me. That is what we're here for. And to be able to talk to like-minded individuals about this stuff, holy crap, man, I love it. I love you guys. So stay tuned for a new review this week. I think, oh man, I'm going to pigeonhole myself into doing it now. I've talked about it. Can't make excuses when I promise stuff. Look, I might just kick off a little bit of a 300 blackout subsonic, baby. Hold on to your hats. I still have 308 data to show you, like I said, but I think we're going to start mixing it up. Keep you on your toes. Keep me on my toes. We'll see what I can do. Stay safe out there, folks. Don't eat too much candy. Look, unless it's candy corn. I love me some candy corn. If you don't, well, you're missing out because candy corn's great. I love it. I'll talk to you folks again soon. Okay, bye.